Victorio Calero en directo para Real Madrid Televisión. En estas 2 temporadas que llevas en el Real Madrid, has vivido grandes noches, grandes remontadas en el Estadio Santiago Bernabéu. Por todo eso que has vivido, ¿qué importancia tiene la afición para hacer un gran partido mañana? Gracias.
Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, really important. I think they're huge in creating an atmosphere and an energy inside the stadium that's infectious, and the players really thrive off that. They can almost sense that when the crowd are up for it, it's an even bigger game and it means more to them. So it brings a better level from us. You know, I don't have to ask the Madridistas to do anything that they haven't done for us already. They perform and they deliver on these nights every single time. And now it's about us matching their desire to win, their energy, and producing a performance that they can be proud of.
Hola Jude, aquí Abraham Romero, El Mundo. Quería saber cuál es la palabra más repetida en el vestuario estos días.
Remontada. Honestly, I've heard it about 1 million times since last week. I've seen 1 million videos online and made by fans, made by kind of you guys, I suppose, and yeah, really motivating stuff. It's a night that's made for Real Madrid, a night that would go down in history, but also be something that people are familiar with around this part of the world. So yeah, hopefully we can add another special night.
Jude, aquí, José Aguado de La Razón. Vosotros sois muy jóvenes, pero quería saber si conocéis la historia de los años 80, de las remontadas mágicas en el Bernabéu.
I've heard Emilio was talking about one against Anderlecht, I think, where they won like 6-1 in the second leg or something like that, and I've seen the clips not long ago on TikTok, so yeah. Yeah, that's my source of education these days. So no, yeah, I've seen a couple of those, and obviously the ones in more recent times. So yeah, it's something that you want to be a part of. It's something that you know, you want to add to the history of this club. There's not a lot you can do for Real Madrid in the Champions League that hasn't already been done, and tomorrow is an opportunity for us to do something that hasn't been done for the first time, and that's really important to us.
Hola Jude, ¿qué tal? Juanma Sánchez de Radio Nacional. Este año en algunos partidos se os ha visto discutir a los jugadores. Tú, por ejemplo, con Vinicius en algunos encuentros. Es normal, ¿no?, con la tensión de los resultados. No sé si está igual de unido el equipo que el año pasado, que estabais mucho mejor, que solo perdisteis 2 partidos, y si mentalmente también estáis lo suficientemente fuertes para conseguir mañana la remontada. Gracias.
Well, yeah, I think the first thing you mentioned, yeah, it's football. It's very normal that on the pitch, you know, there's so much at stake that emotions get a bit high, and you communicate with your teammates louder than you would communicate with your mum or your dad or your wife or something like that. So yeah, we have a very different relationship with your teammates. There has to be that level of honesty, that level of ruthlessness with each other. Yeah, you guys highlight that more than anything. I think for every one of those you see, there's probably 20 of the positive interactions, and I think that's obviously will get lost in the whole media world of it, which is fine. As long as the team respect each other enough to have those honest conversations, that's really important. And yeah, as far as being mentally strong enough, we believe so. You know, I think you can't come into a game like this thinking there's going to be anything other than a comeback. That's the way we're thinking about the game. We're ready, we're excited, and we're looking forward to it.
Hey Jude, Tatiana Mantovani, TNT Sports Brasil. En esa temporada no habéis hecho partidos tan buenos, a lo mejor como tenéis que hacer mañana para poder remontar. Dentro del campo, en fútbol, ¿qué se tiene que ver del Madrid para que la remontada pueda ser posible? Gracias.
Well, a lot better than we saw in the first leg, that's for sure. A higher commitment, a better understanding of what the game requires, more clean with the ball, better on transition. There's a multitude of things, and I think there probably wasn't one aspect of our game that was up to the standard that we expect from ourselves. And we're not afraid to say something like that. It's very normal that when you lose a game, you review the game honestly. We know we can play a lot better, we know we can do a lot of things a lot better, and that's what we want to show tomorrow. It's one thing to lose, but it's another thing to not learn, and that's something that we'll have had done for tomorrow.
Hi Jude, Alex Howell, BBC. What's it like being part of a team where people near enough expect these comebacks from you?
Yeah, I think it's. I did say that to someone the other day, where it's a weird environment at the minute. The last few days, it's like one of the worst results we could possibly imagine away, and for some reason, everyone thinks it's nailed on that we'll come back, and it's a nice feeling, I have to say. It means there's a lot of trust in the talent. It means that you're at a club that's unlike no other, the best in the world. That's what it represents and signifies to me. So, yeah, there's a pressure that comes along with that for sure, and we'll want to deliver on what everyone thinks, that we can come back, and that's obviously the goal for us. But yeah, there is a pressure about it, and that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Hola Jude, ¿qué tal? Joel del Río del diario Marca. Se ha convertido en una costumbre que en las últimas derrotas del Madrid se analicen los datos. En el último partido frente al Arsenal dicen que corristeis 14 kilómetros menos que el rival, pero también es cierto que la temporada pasada este dato ocurrió varias veces y acabasteis ganando la Champions. A mí me gustaría saber si de esto habláis en el vestuario y cómo de importante y cuánto de importante es para mañana correr más kilómetros que el rival.
Well, yeah, you always give yourself a better chance if you run more, you match the running stats of the other team. I think 14 kilometres, you said there, that's the equivalent to what, one player and a bit more. So I think if you think about it logically, of course it makes an impact on the game. It means that you can't get out to certain areas quick enough, and etc. I probably don't have to explain that. But yeah, like I said, last year was similar, where we didn't always run the most, but we were in an organised position. So there is an element of knowing where to run and what spaces to cover, and that doesn't kind of involve running around like a headless chicken. So it's about finding the balance between running a lot and knowing where to run. Yeah, there's probably a mix of both that we didn't do well at the Emirates. So yeah, tomorrow I'm sure there'll be everyone willing to run much more than we did last week, and hopefully we have a better plan in doing that as well.
¿Qué tal, Jude? Aquí, Marcos Benito para El Chiringuito. Estamos viendo en los últimos días, sobre todo en medios de comunicación, exjugadores en Inglaterra, por sus declaraciones, que ya se empieza a percibir cierto miedo, cierto respeto por esa posible remontada. ¿A ti te llega esto?
What, that we're afraid, or that they're afraid, sorry? That England's afraid? Oh, okay, sorry. Translate, it was a bit quiet, I don't know how to turn it up. Yeah, I think like the previous question, there's an expectation from Real Madrid that when we get into these kind of holes that we can come back, even if it's a really, really tough one and a really difficult one. I think probably in England it's not as common, although it has happened as well. I think Liverpool did it a couple of years back before they got to the final or something like that, or they won it. So yeah, it's just because the club have done it so many times, and that's what's so impressive about the size of this club. And yeah, the expectations are obviously huge.
¿Qué tal, Jude? Iván Martín de OK Diario. La afición empezó a creer posiblemente el miércoles, tras el batacazo. El miércoles la afición creía. Yo te quería preguntar, ¿cuándo empezáis a creer vosotros en esta remontada?
To be fair, after the game, it's normally really tough. You have the kind of few moments after you've got to do the press. You're sitting around on your own, where you do think that it's going to be difficult, it's going to be tough. And then the more you get speaking to the other lads and you see how confident they are, the more it kind of rubs off on you. The lads that have experienced these kind of nights before, it rubs off. Like I said before, it's infectious, and it makes you a lot more confident, a lot more comfortable with the situation you're in, about the people you're going into the situation you're in. So yeah, for us it was pretty much immediate. So by the time we was back on the coach, we was all not in good spirits, obviously, but realised that we could still be in the competition.
Hi, Jude. Darmesh from Sky Sports. You've said after that game that the tie's not over, and you've kind of answered it a little bit there, but what gives you that real belief that this comeback is on? And a second part of that question, did Arsenal surprise you guys last week?
I think what makes us confident is the quality we have, the history of the club, the fans that will turn up and give everything on the night, the aura of the Bernabeu in these Champions League nights. That's always something. I think we still felt like, even though we played probably as bad as we possibly could in a game like that, we still had chances, weirdly, and still had moments where we felt like we could have capitalised a bit more. And normally when you have your worst games, you feel like you're absolutely miles off it and there's no way you can get in the game. And still we had a few chances where it felt like maybe if we just increased our level and was a bit more attentive to a few things that they did really well, we can be in it. You know, I think we're not stupid, but also we're confident in the ability we have. And the second part was about, what was that, sorry? Oh yeah, not really. No, we know the quality they had. I think the free kicks were surprising. I've not seen Deck do that before, to be fair. I knew he could take set pieces really well, the corners and stuff, but I'd never seen him do that with the free kicks. So fair play to him. That was probably the only thing, though, really. We knew they're a really good team. We knew that they have a really good manager. They're going to be organised. And, yeah, there was a lot of things that were really impressive for them, but nothing that we didn't expect. They're a top-level team.
Últimas dos preguntas, last two questions.
Hola, ¿qué tal? Aquí, derecha, David Álvarez, del País. Dejando al lado un poco la historia, las otras remontadas, el sentimiento y volviendo al fútbol, con los partidos que habéis hecho este año, con el juego que habéis mostrado, ¿crees que tenéis suficiente para pasar esta eliminatoria, o hay algo más que tenéis y que no habéis podido mostrar todavía y que veis en los entrenamientos y que crees que está a punto de salir y que sería necesario, y qué es? Gracias.
Yeah, I think obviously, like you said, we've had games where we've been a bit underwhelming and still found ways to win. There's positive aspects that you can take from that. I mean, you know, we beat City 3-1 at home, beat them away from home as well. So, you know, I think, like I said before, the kind of negative things and the games where we're not as good are always going to take a bit more of the spotlight and the attention, whereas when we win, it's always, well, they're expected to do that, so why is that a big deal? Why is that not a big story? And I do understand, and I agree. But like I said, we've definitely shown moments in some games this year that we can be capable of doing something special, regardless of the underwhelming moments. And, you know, I've got to sit here and be confident in the team, the changing room I've got down there. And that's got nothing to do with history. That's to do with the lads that I see every single day, working hard every single day, showing the right face every single day, regardless of the adversity we faced last week in London. So that's why I'm confident. Not so much history. History is one thing also, but that's what I see every day, and I know that we can do it.
Última pregunta, last question.
¿Qué tal, Jude? Miguel Ángel Toribio en directo para Radio Marca. La última vez que ganasteis por 2 goles fue el pasado 23 de febrero. A la gente que piensa cómo van a ganar por 3 goles o por 4 goles, si lleváis 2 meses ganando solamente por 1 cuando ganáis. A esa gente, ¿qué le dices?
It's a different night, isn't it? I think we've played some games this year, like I said, we've been underwhelming in some games, but we found ways to win. You're saying that we've only won by 1 goal, but that's probably what was required on that night, on that given day, in that given stadium, against that given opposition. That was what was required, and obviously we're required to score goals tomorrow, and we've got to try and live up to that and expect that kind of that level from ourselves. But you know, worrying about if we've scored more than 1 goal in the last few months and can we do it again, that's not a concern of mine. These nights are different, and hopefully we can show that tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Have a good evening.